Hey guys, it's Moss517, bringing you a different video that you're not used to seeing. I'm going to be showing you guys my prop collection, and yeah, there's a lot to cover here. Right now you're probably like, what the heck, what is that pile, what is that mess, that pile of junk? But these are actually all the props I've made over the last year and a half since I, got into it. Every single one of them has a story. I'm going to do my best to cover all of them. This will definitely be a long video, so bear with me. And I never really do live action stuff, so I'm just recording this with my phone. I'm trying to record my voice audio with my microphone, my snowball mic that I generally use for recording, so at least that will be better quality, but I kind of need to move away from the mic a lot, so it may end up just being the phone audio by the time I'm done with this. It depends what I can do when I, in post, when I edit. So yeah, let's get started. So we have a lot of stuff to cover, and oh man, whew, it's like where to begin. So I'm gonna try to do most things in like the chronological order that I made them, because that can really, if I show you one thing that I made recently that's pretty nice because I gained a lot of experience, and then I show you something I originally made, you'll see a big difference in quality. So if we're gonna start off, in that order, this one right here is my first ever prop. This is back when I was, oh man, like 13 maybe, when I was a little kid. I wanted to make an assault rifle from Halo 3, and I looked up images online, and I like drew the outline of it on some cardboard, cut it out, and I didn't even know what glue was, so I just taped it up. See, when you look at something like this, you imagine like a little 6-year-old kid, but I was 13. I feel like if I had applied myself a little bit more, I probably could have made something a lot cooler, but this is something that I definitely hang on to just because it's a piece of crap, but it's so funny, and it was the first thing I made, so it's like I love keeping it. So as I go over things, I'm going to grab them and take them off the table to clear some space and make it easier to see other things. So that is number one. Also, I have my air conditioning going on in the background. Hopefully it's not too bad, but it is pretty warm out, and I'm going to be moving around the whole time, so it can get pretty hot. So trying to, comfort myself. So yeah, the assault rifle, that was the first one. Next is right here, which I'm going to try to have a little base area that I can set stuff, so I can kind of go in close and get detail and all that. This is my workbench, by the way, so you can see this thing is just covered. I gave up on the whole like laying down a newspaper. I was like, this thing is meant to get beat up, let's do it. So this thing's just beat to hell. So we're gonna grab my what would be called a Mandalorian helmet. For those that don't know, Mandalorians are from Star Wars, so this is more a Boba Fett helmet, but it's called technically a Mandalorian helmet. So that's what this is. It's still not done, actually. I worked on this. I really never even had an interest in getting into prop making, but about a year and a half ago, for some reason, like I was at work and I was watching videos, and I think I saw a video of some guy who made one of these, and he had templates to download. So I was like, I'm at work, I print off the templates, and I'm like, I can make this. Let me get some cardboard and some this and that, and this thing definitely is not great. I'll try to edit some photos in of the here, because I took pictures as I built it, so originally it looked terrible, and then I completed it. I painted it red, the color I wanted, but it wasn't the exact shade of red I wanted. Like, if you look up at that picture right there, that's the color red I wanted, but this was more of a, if you see that Boba Fett one, those might look the same on camera, but that's definitely a more different red color, and that's what this was, and I didn't like it, and I wanted to redo it, so I repainted it silver, and I was going to repaint it red, and then kind of like sand away and do some stuff, and have the silver kind of shine through it to look like metal from like, it getting shipped away, because you can see this thing has a lot of imperfections, and eventually I'd like to, maybe make a video of me restoring this and painting it up and making all these imperfections look kind of like battle damage, and it's pretty cool. But this was the first one. This was the first thing I worked on. I remember every single day I was getting home from work and I was working on it, and I would work on it for like 3 to 4 hours, and it took me a long time, and it's still, this thing is still more along the lines of like a prototype, because it doesn't even fit my head. It doesn't really matter if it fits my head. I'm not really into cosplay or anything like that, but it was kind of cool to be like, oh man, it actually fits. But no, this thing is way too small for my head. My freaking nose is just busting through here, and this is supposed to have a visor, but I took that off, while I was painting it, so that's just lost somewhere. I'll probably have to make a new one. But yeah, this thing, I recorded a log in a notebook of every prop I made and the things I learned making it. Because every single thing I made, I learned from it. There was an experience to be gained from it, and so this one was definitely yeah, I can't really think of the exact experience, but it was just the first time around, you know, I made so many mistakes and stuff like that, so this definitely, this thing, out of all my props is probably my favorite and my most sentimental, because I just, you know, I spent so long on it, and I love it, and it's so cool, and I gotta find some time to get it completely finished, but yeah, so that's my Mandalorian helmet, pretty cool. At this point, I'm completely lost on what I made recently and what I made a while back, so we're just gonna bounce to the next thing. So let's go ahead and, actually this one was one of the ones I made next. This is a Han Solo blaster, or if you're technical, the DL-44. This I didn't actually make. This I painted. I gave it a paint job. So this is actually a, I think it might be called like a Rubies Han Solo blaster. It's like a costume blaster. You carry it with you. It's originally all white with like orange highlights, and you know, it doesn't look all cool and stuff. Because if you look at this, like, this is based on a real life gun, the C96 Mauser. So you know, you typically don't want to sell anything like this because you don't want it to be mistaken for a real gun. You know, that's a whole nother discussion for another day. But you know, it's cool. I give it a whole paint job, and this was actually a tutorial I followed. That's how I learned a lot of the stuff, is from the wonderful world of YouTube. There's a guy on YouTube, his channel's called Punished Props. The guy's name is Bill Duran, and it's him and his wife. They both do cosplay props and stuff like that, and they occasionally post tutorials on how to do certain things. So this was just one where he's like, hey, you know, paint it this color, do these things, and it taught me a lot about the weathering process of a, you know, thing. So you paint it up, but you don't want it to look brand new. You want it to look like it's been through battle and stuff like that. It gives it a really nice, sort of like authentic look. So there was pretty much what I learned with this one is how to do this nice, like, you know, making it look like metal beneath it. My camera might not be doing it justice because it's kind of struggling to focus, but you know, I learned a lot doing this, and it's just a really cool build. And you know, I don't want to spend too long ranting on each, you know, each prop. So this was just my first repaint, so I wouldn't really call this like a full-on prop. Like the Mandalorian helmet, I built from nothing, so that was, you know, just cardboard, stuff like that, just nothing, and built it. This was already you know, a preset thing, and I painted it, so it's not really, it's still really cool, but I wouldn't really count it as I made this. You know, it was just like, it was a paint job. So, but yeah, that's a really cool one. It actually fires too, and it sounds nothing like a blaster sound from Star Wars, so that's kind of disappointing, but you know, whatever. Alright, what is next? Oh man, I'm doing everything one-handed, and this camera's kind of shaking, so again, apologies if this video is kind of subpar, but you know. So I'm going to try to bounce around to different things so it's not the same old props over and over. So the next one I'll show you is I made a Harry Potter wand. For some reason, I don't even remember the story of why I was doing this, but I think, oh, I had this. This is like a piece of a curtain rod, and this is just a wooden dowel, and you know, I just had scraps lying around. Like, you know, down here is my scrap bin. Just anything that I could possibly use for a prop, like just, you know, just garbage, stuff like that. I'm like, I'll throw it in the bin, and I use it. And so I had a wooden dowel at a piece of curtain. I was like, I got an idea. So I cut under the rope right here is actually still part of the curtain right here. It's a little bit thicker than this. So I cut that, cut the dowel to length, attached it together. I don't know if I glued it. I think I might have drilled a hole and then put a piece of wood in there, like friction fit it, and then friction fit this one, so this thing can actually pop off if I wanted it to. But it looked kind of sloppy, so I did this cool little like nautical wrap. I really don't know what it is. My dad's really big into nautical stuff, so he showed me how to do this cool little wrap, and then I did you know, I put a helm on there, or like steering wheel for those that don't know the nautical terms. But yeah, so it's just a cool little Harry Potter one. I think it's just a nice, like, decorative piece. I usually, I just throw this on my windowsill, and my whole room is usually decorated with my props, so I'm not showing you all that, because right now the walls just look all barren, because all these are down here. But yeah, I hung up all my stuff, and overall it looks really cool. So that's my Harry Potter one. And then I actually have two more that I'm making. My nieces that are 4 and 6 are both really into Harry Potter right now, so I made them some wands. I'm still not fully satisfied with these, just because they're kind of basic, but my nieces are kids. They're, you know, that my sister, who's their mom, says that they play with like sticks and they're happy with it. So this will probably blow them away. I'm Mr. Perfectionist. I want it to be as good as it can be. So, you know, there's that. But yeah, this one of them is into Slytherin, so I wanted to make this kind of like corroded, kind of, you know, messed up, kind of broken down looking wand, because it, you know, Slytherin, they're the bad guys. I have my niece's initials on there. And then, so that would be hers, and then the other one, she's big into Gryffindor, so I did this. This is actually a little holder, like it's a little clip that you can clip to you, and then you can slide the wand in there. Since it's Gryffindor, I added a little what's it called? I added like some fur to it, just because it's like lion fur sort of deal, so I added that. Oh my god, I'm falling apart. And then this one's, you know, it's pretty much the same as the other one, but it's all one, you know, there's no like scuffs in it and stuff like that. It's pretty like nice looking. Her initials on the back, and I got this little gold pin in there just because, you know, kind of makes it different. It looks kind of cool. So, you know, Harry Potter ones, pretty cool as a whole. Oh, what next? Oh man, we got a lot of stuff. Oh, this one's fun. Funny enough, this is the first can of shaving cream I ever used. So I'm 24 now, and geez, I've probably had this thing since I was like, when did I first grow facial hair? I mean, like 15. Growed like 2 hairs on my upper lip, and I was like, time to shave. So this is just an old school can of Barbasol shaving cream. So if you've ever seen the movie Jurassic Park, you'll know that this is a kind of like an iconic thing in the movie, because the one dude is trying to steal the embryos or the DNA or whatever the hell it is, and so he's got this like little secret agent thing where it pops open on the bottom, and you got a well, I'm gonna try not to cut myself here because this is just sharp metal. So, oh man, hold on, maybe I can. Come on. Oh, just break the prop. So I made this thing. It's definitely not precise. You can see bits like are off angle, but I used these little syringes I had, and I took yellow dye, dyed some water, or made whatever the hell, food coloring, whatever the hell you want to call it. Filled them up. I hot glued the ends, and then you just got the numbers on there. So I'm pretty sure in the movie each one is listed. It says like Velociraptor, T-Rex, but you know, I had these just lying around, and I was like, these are good. And then I took some foam and like drilled it in. This is a PVC pipe. This right here is actually the cap to some laundry detergent. So as you can see, it's like, you know, you find all these little things and you can actually make something pretty cool out of it. So if anyone watching this is you know, kind of, I'm not gonna say inspired, but interested in getting into prop making, it's actually very simple. You know, you don't need a whole lot of tools. Like, I've upgraded as I went. Like, I have a scroll saw now, and you know, I got a bunch of tools over there. But all you really need is you need like a hot glue gun, razor blade, like, you know, like a box cutter, and you know, some build material, cardboard, and then you just need some paint. So, you know, you can really build a lot of this stuff for very easy, and there's plenty of tutorials on YouTube, and it's just cool. You know, I like to, you guys know me, I play Minecraft and stuff like that. I like the creative outlet, and it's just a cool thing. I'm probably gonna break this trying to do this one-handed. You know what? We're just gonna, I'll handle that later. Oh, ding in the lamp. This right here is just a little small like box I got at a craft store at Michael's or AC Moore. I turned it into a little Nazi Zombies mystery box. So it's not exact, because I think in the mystery box it's got like these little like rope handles on the end. So I kind of wanted to add that. But you know, I stained the wood, gave it a paint job. I added some scuffs on the side, and you can see I did like this little blood splatter, and I know it's pretty cool. And I think I added to the inside, yeah, I added some fake mossy stuff. I literally got this stuff at the dollar store. So yeah, it's just a cool little build. It's like a decorative thing. You can use it for storage, and you know, it's cool. So there's that. That guy's pretty cool. Another tutorial from Punished Props was a Destiny Hunter Dagger from Destiny 1. This was definitely one of my first builds, so it's not that great. It's got a lot of imperfections, but you can see it looks pretty cool. And most of these, like I said, I make these just as like decoration. So this just hangs out on my wall. It either sits like this or this. I don't remember which way. But yeah, it's just 2 pieces of foam cut out. You know, used a piece of PVC, screwed it into this, and it cut a hole in here, made a hole there, and then 2 holes here. And then I used some foam and like cut it to length and wrapped it around, painted it brown so it looks like leather. And that's what's funny. This is super lightweight. Like, you know, don't have to worry about hurting anyone. It's not real, but you know, from a distance it might look real. This right now doesn't look real, but you know, from a distance when you put it up on the wall, you really can't really tell it's foam, and it just looks pretty cool. So there's that guy, Destiny Hunter Dagger. Next right here we have a Rainbow Six. My favorite character, or one of my favorite characters in Rainbow Six, is Doc. He is a medic. So he's got a little stim pistol that if your teammates get down, you shoot them with it, and it revives them. So this is just, I made this in like maybe an hour or 2, so it's kind of hastily built. You can see it's pretty cool, but it's got a lot of imperfections. Like back here, you can see the seams where I connected the foam. So most of my builds have that, because I'm really impatient. I don't like, you know, I'm like, you know, you fill that in, you gotta wait like an hour for the stuff to harden, then you gotta do it again. There's sanding, and I'm so impatient with it. But you know, that was just a simple build, and this is actually a real CO2 cartridge right here. I just like cut it to shape and threw that in there. So, you know, pretty cool, pretty nice. This thing actually comes out, so it's like, you know, and that's just like PVC with like hot glue, not hot glue, super glue cap on it. So, you know, it's just funny. It's funny some of the stuff you can actually make just from simple stuff that you find around the house or just garbage and stuff. What's next? Let's get into the good stuff. Alright, here's one that's pretty cool. If you guys have ever seen Star Wars Episode 2 and 3, this is a Clone Wars blaster. I believe it's the DC-15, DC-15S, some sort of name, I don't know. But yeah, it's just, you know, it's a clone blaster, horizontal, and yeah, you can see this was one of my first ones I made. Like, look how uneven those seams are. Oh man. I need to eventually take this thing and restore it a little bit because it needs some work. But this was another tutorial I followed. There's a guy on YouTube also. I definitely encourage you guys to check out the guys I'm mentioning because their content's awesome. It's really entertaining just seeing what they make. The guy who made this, his channel is Andrew DFT, and he makes a ton of Star Wars stuff. Lately he's been making a lot of Fortnite props, and his work is just insane because he's been doing it, geez, probably like over 10 years, and I've only been doing it for like a year and a half, so his stuff makes mine just look pitiful. But this was just a really cool tutorial he made. He's got step-by-step tutorials on how to make this, so if this was something that interested you, it took me like very little materials to make, and you know, mainly just some black paint and stuff like that. So, you know, it's simple, and I think I made this, did I? I don't know. Let's see if I can break it. Oh, I'm gonna break that. I think I originally had this set as like Velcro, so you could actually detach this magazine, but it kept falling off, so I think I super glued it on there. But yeah, pretty cool, pretty simple. Man, I'm just getting like this pile up over here of all my weapons. Next. Ooh, this one's cool. Got this at a dollar store. Well, it was a, what was it, Family Dollar? So Family Dollar is not like an actual dollar store, but things are like cheap there. So this was a $6 squirt gun. It originally had this big tank on the back for the water, took that off. This thing is, you can see how it's vertical, it goes down. It used to be horizontal along the bottom, and it was a pump, so you could, you know, apply pressure so you could shoot the water. You know, I broke that off, I reversed it, so now it's kind of like a foregrip. And it's basically, I think in the gun world, it's an AUG. I don't know the exact model, but an AUG. And I did that, and I took like a cardboard tube, and I made a barrel, or like a silencer for it. I duct taped this flashlight to it. I don't even know if it works. Oh, it does, cool. But this is supposed to be kind of like a fallout weapon. You can see it's just kind of it's all beat up and stuff like that. This was definitely another build that I learned how to build, or like how to do things properly, because one of my buddies who he owns a lot of guns, he told me that this gun is actually all plastic. So you can see I have all this silver here to show metal beneath it, but in real life there wouldn't actually be metal there, it's plastic. So that was one of those things that I actually kind of did wrong. So, you know, I learned from it. Now when I do, if I ever do like a repaint of like a real life gun, I do my research and see which parts are metal so I can give it a realistic paint job. But yeah, so this is supposed to be like a Fallout themed thing, so I made a cap on it that's Vault 34. So if you guys have ever played Fallout New Vegas, Vault 34 is the weapons vault. It's just got guns just out the ass, and so I figured this would be a cool little thing. And you know, I just really dig the paint job on it, and it's just kind of like, it's beat up, and it's a cool little gun. So this is definitely one of my favorites that I made, that you know, it's just a cool little wall decoration. Looks really cool, and I like it. It's pretty nice, pretty cool. But that's what I mean, like, you know, I'll be at a dollar store, I'm like, oh crap, like that thing's pretty cool, and it's just, you know, it's a simple paint job. What else we got? Oh, here's a little simple one. This one was a actual dollar store. This is a little, it's just a little like dart gun. So just did a little like James Bond gold pistol sort of deal. You can see the paint's already chipping off. This thing is just beat to hell, but simple little thing. I painted it gold and I called it done. So, and this is actually a dart with a glue, like this is actually a glue stick. I took all the glue out, put the dart inside it, and just glued it and painted it. So this is actually just like a little glue stick. I'm pretty sure back here you would twist. But yeah, like, see, half the time you probably don't even know what it is until I tell you, so you know, you can use your imagination. But yeah, this is pretty cool. What else we got? We got everything. Alright, let's jump into another helmet. This is another Andrew DFT tutorial. He did a ODST helmet. So Halo ODST is one of my favorite Halo games, and I always wanted a helmet. Now this thing was still one of my early builds, so you can see there's a lot of you know, a lot of problems here with the seams. This thing is also in progress. I paused a lot of my builds because I'll work on them and I'll say, oh, I'm gonna work on something else, and I never get back to working on this. But you can see this thing definitely has a few issues, but all in all it looks pretty cool. You can definitely identify it for what it is, and I think with just a better paint job it could look a lot better. It's actually a little bit off center, but you know, who cares? You passed it off as battle damage. It was scuffed up, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, you can see back there, like, this piece bows out really hard and doesn't like fully round off, so not the greatest, but hey, you know, one of those early builds, and all in all, like, it looks really cool. You don't notice a lot of those imperfections. I just throw it up there on the very top where that little mannequin head thing is. That's where I just put my, you know, my decorations. So I just set this thing up there. You don't even notice the imperfections, and overall it looks really cool. So that's another one of the helmets. Oh my god, I'm getting this huge pile up in front of my AC. Ooh, what do we got next? We got a lot of things. This one was just a simple one. This was a little tomahawk thing I made. So this is just a simple wooden dowel. I stained it, and then I cut some foam, and I cut it to shape. So I made, this is a very thick looking blade, but you can see I made the blade, or the whatever, took some foam and made like a leather wrap to make it look like it's attached. And then I did a leather wrap on this one, and you know, super lightweight, but it's just like a cool little, I just throw it on the wall and it looks like that, and it's got like a blood splatter and stuff, and it's just a cool little build. I was bored one day and I was like, boom, made it in an hour, called it a day. Ooh, next one. This is one of my favorites. I'm saying that about everything, but I'm thinking of the build process for all of these, and this one was, man, this was like a 2-week affair. Which, once I got good at making some props, I was able to, like, knock them out in a day, so 2 weeks was, like, an eternity of work time. So this is a Payday 2, if you ever played Payday 2, there's a melee weapon called the Grand Slap, which is this. Essentially, your character, just when you melee an enemy, you, like, hit them in the face with money, which is really funny. But, yeah, so I remade this, and this was something that, if you ever do anything when it comes to currency, it is a very big legal game. Like, just me even, like, you know, researching stuff online about it, I didn't want to take any chances. I didn't want the FBI banging on my door thinking that I'm trying to make like a little counterfeit operation. Like, hell no, nope. So when I got the image, I modified everything. Like, nearly everything on this is a modification of a $100 bill. So everything's changed. Instead of Benjamin Franklin, it says Dallas. Instead of, like, this says this note is not legal tender, instead it is legal tender. Criminal note, or criminal reserve note, instead of, I think, Federal Reserve note. Like, everything has changed about it. On this is you know, a lot of this stuff is accurate based on the game. All these things are from within the game, so I recreated all of it. You know, I researched which fonts to use, everything like that. Even on the back, I think, yeah, on the back I modified this where, I forgot what it says on the back of a normal $100 bill, because your boy poor, I don't know all that. But it says for cosplay use only, so God forbid if these, if someone like stole this and they thought it was real money. There's all these things that are just red flags. It's like, it's not real, I swear. But it's really cool, I love it. It's essentially just, here's the cover, the front one, and then the rest is just paper just cut to shape, and then the same on the back. And then I did a very patented old school method to make things look weathered, and you just make some coffee and you let the stuff soak in it, and then you let it dry, and it makes it kind of crumply. It makes it look old, so you can kind of see this is just, you know, beat up. But yeah, this was one of my favorite things I made because it was mainly all done online. It was just done in Photoshop, and I, you know, put a lot of work into it. But it's a really cool prop. See, I feel like I should just kind of like show you guys and say, hey, check it out, boom, there's that, and then I could make a solo video going into all the detail of how I made a prop. But I don't know, if you guys want to see something like that, if you see one of the props I've made and you want to know the whole build process or just whatever, let me know, and I could probably make a standalone video on what I did specifically. So, you know, I give you a brief summary of how I made this, but if you wanted like the full detail, you know, let me know. I'll see what I can do. But yeah, this is one of my favorites, and then this actually goes in with that over there. I'm not going to get up and try to grab that because that thing's a pain. But I put together a little Payday cosplay thing, so that little access card right there, I made that in Photoshop, and I forgot what I did, but I was able to like laminate it. So there's that, and then I made the money things, and then I bought the rest of the stuff online. I bought a briefcase online for like 30 bucks, and then I bought the little Payday mask, and then I have a little dollar. Here, I'll try to grab that real quick. Okay, I have a little revolver, little snub nose. They got a dollar store. It's like a little cap gun. You can see the paint's just shipping like crazy. But I bought this and I just threw it in there, and it's a cool little, because in Payday everyone's wearing like suits and they carry their briefcases and they look really low key. So this is like the whole bank heist setup in the briefcase, and in that little folder I have a little, I printed it off online. It's a blueprint for the bank, for one of the banks, like it's the bank layout. So all this stuff goes together and it's really cool. Like, that's one thing alone. I can make a whole video on that showing you guys that stuff. So that's why, you know, let me know if anything in particular interests you and I'll show you. But yeah, so this is definitely one of the favorites. I think I have this. I sit it in front of my TV just because it just looks, you know, it just looks awesome. It's a really cool sort of game related thing. And yeah, so let's move on. This thing though, I'm not gonna lift off the desk because it is a nightmare. Next, let's grab this. This is only halfway done, but a drone from Rainbow Six Siege. If you ever played it, you got these little drones that roll around. I still need to make a little thing for like the drone's eye. But yeah, it's just literally like a toilet paper tube, and then I took some toys, or not some toys, some wheels off like a remote control car. That was, you know, the thing was like junk, and I just took it off and glued it on and painted it all black, and you can see it's just, you know, once I add that little thing in, it'll just be a little cool thing. And in the game, in Rainbow Six Siege, people always had their drones in like really weird spots. They'll jump on a windowsill, under a couch or something. So I just want to put this somewhere in my room where it just looks like the drone's just hanging out. But yeah, that's a cool one. What else we got? What do we got? Oh, this one's another really good one. This is like my Instagram one. I posted a picture of this on Instagram. I wish, if you're not following me on Instagram, go check it out, Modest517. Same, you know, I post most of my props when I work on them. So this was the one that I guess it went viral on Instagram. Normally my pictures get like 20-30 likes, and this thing got like 700. So posted it up, and I was like, here's a Fallout, you know, Fallout inspired Nerf pistol. I don't know what Nerf model it is, but it's just like, it's got like two, you know, you can put two darts in it. It's got two shots. But yeah, I just made this sort of Fallout inspired looking pistol, and this is one of the ones that when I made it, I was like, this is the best thing I've ever made, because I think the paint job on it's really cool. And you can see I added a few things. I made it look all rusted, like I got like dirt and like orange paint just caked in there. I made a Nuka Cola cap on one side, made a Vault 34 on the other. I added this button right here to be either like a, you know, to look like, you gotta use your imagination with it, but it would either be like a, you'd press it to turn it on, or you would, you know, turn it, something like that. Added a belt just to give it like a cool little handle bit. Then I made a weird little optic thing. I'm pretty sure a piece fell off, so this actually had like a piece of plastic over or something like that to look like an optic, but looks like that. I ran a wire down to this battery just to make it look like that's how it would be powered and turned on. And then I plugged one of the barrels, and the other one I put this metal bit on to make it look like it's sort of a, like a laser pistol, or, you know, something from the Fallout universe. So, you know, it's just cool. It was a really cool little paint job, and I think this one took me a couple of days to do, but I really wanted to do it right. And yeah, so that's that is one of the really cool ones that I've made. I don't want to keep going, oh, it's one of my favorites, but this was one of the ones that was like, holy hell, this thing was sick when I made it. Oh man, the pile gets bigger. Next, another Rainbow Six build. This was a simple one. I got this, I forgot where I was. Maybe I was like at Walmart, and I saw this, you know, I saw this pistol. I believe it's supposed to be a Beretta M9, if I'm correct. Same pistol Kavera uses in Rainbow Six. Kavera's a character, she's all stealthy, so she's essentially got this pistol. I think it's called like Louisville or something. If it's Brazilian, I'm probably butchering the pronunciation, but yeah, it's just pretty much just a standard pistol, and then it's got the silencer on the end. This silencer probably could look a little bit better, but it's just, it's like toilet paper tube wrapped in some brown paper, painted to look all like scuffed up and beat up, and I took some like twine and wrapped it around it. And you know, it was a simple build I was able to knock out in like a day, and it looks cool when you hang it up on the wall. But yeah, simple little build, pretty cool, pretty nice. That's another thing too. If you're ever looking to get into this, start with something like that. Just a simple repaint. You don't got to do a massive like from the ground up build. Here's another one. If you've ever played the game Star Wars Knights of the Republic, there's just like a standard blaster pistol. Now, when you make props yourself, you know, normally the process of building is you want to scour the internet for reference photos. You want to try to, I don't go into such detail of like getting the exact measurements. Like I'll get a rough idea like, oh, this thing's like, you know, like 6 inches long or something like that. But I don't do the exact, like, I gotta be perfectly precise. But you want to scour the internet and get a lot of reference photos, so you have, you know what you're building. You know what you're copying. Now, Knights of the Republic came out a long time ago, maybe 2003 or something, like a long time ago. It's a very, very old game, so there really wasn't a whole lot of reference photos. And that game is, since it's an older game, it's very kind of like pixelated in a way. It's not really high detail, so I couldn't really find many images that really showed this in good detail, so I kind of had to just wing it and do my own thing. But yeah, it's just a cool little blaster from it. You know, I put this little switch on. It doesn't actually work, but it's like you could turn that on, and then this is a very cheap little flashlight that came with some toy gun I bought, and it was just a scrap piece, and I was like, let me use it. And so I actually made it where you can turn it on. Hopefully I don't break it. You turn it on the back, and this is supposed to be like a scope. So you turn it on, and then you can see normally it shines blue, but I took a piece of red, like transparent red, like plastic, and put it in there, and it just looks pretty cool when it's turned on. It's just got this nice little glow to it, kind of is blue, kind of red, and you know, it's a pretty cool little thing. So you know, if I ever take a cool picture of it, it's like, oh, like it's turned on, and then you know, next picture would be it's turned off, so the little switch is off, and that's off, and it's a pretty cool one. Got like I did the whole foam wrap around it, painted brown to look like leather. It'd actually be cool if I used actual leather with some of the builds, but this is a much cheaper solution. You cut off a little piece of foam, paint it brown, you know, call it a day. But yeah, this thing's got some imperfections. As you can see, the barrel kind of goes up. It's not perfectly straight, and you know, my seams aren't perfect, but you know, it's just one of those things. I'm impatient with it. What else we got? Oh, we're starting to, let's do another helmet. Another helmet. Hopefully I saved something good for last, but I've already kind of covered a lot of the good stuff. So this is another helmet I made. I picked this up at a flea market. Originally it was, I think it's like a kid's baseball helmet or motorcycle helmet. I don't know, it's something. It's a big, strong, like plasticky helmet. And I made, this is sort of like an X-Wing fighter helmet. It's also kind of like a Luke Skywalker X-Wing helmet. So I don't know if it's exact, but yeah, I made this, attached the pieces of foam. And it looks pretty cool. If you look in close detail, there's a few, there's a lot of imperfections with the way it looks. I did a lot of repainting on this, but when I throw it up there, it just, man, it looks really cool. It doesn't have the front blast shield because it kind of came apart on me, and this piece kind of popped up on me. So this is another one of those work in progress ones. But this one's nearly complete. I could probably fix this, in like an hour if I just took the time to do it. But you can see I freehanded all these things. I was looking at images online and I freehanded the little details. Like you can see, this isn't like a perfect circle. I didn't make a stencil or anything. Just freehanded it. This I freehanded, I think, or maybe I made a circle, and then like I made a little circle stencil and then I wrapped around it, and then I didn't do this bit. I don't remember exactly. I may have made a stencil for that. But yeah, overall it looks really cool. You look at it in close detail, you can see the imperfections, but at a glance, it's a pretty cool build, so I'm pretty happy with it. Man, I'm running out of room. I gotta put this on the ground. Now my feet have no room. What else we got? I'm not gonna... Actually, I can grab this. Hold on. Oh my god, it hurts. Oh, Jesus. This is a 6-pack thing that my dad got me. It's a cool little... It's got a bottle opener thing there, so I use this to store my cool little bottles, and my bottle opener for when your boy pops them cold ones. But I made a little Nuka Cola bottle. This was one of the first things I made, so it could definitely look better. It could look more weathered, but Nuka Cola bottle, Nuka Cola Quantum, and then these are really cool. I made the Perk Bottles from Nazi Zombies. So we got Revive Soda, and you can see I did the whole little Revive image. I actually made all of these in Photoshop. There was images online, but I wanted to recreate it myself to kind of, not so much test myself, but see if I could do it. I didn't just want to copy an image online and use it for myself. I do that with a few things, but for this I really wanted to see if I could recreate it myself. So at 7-Eleven I found these juices or whatever. You could easily just use food coloring and fill these up with water and make them the color, but at 7-Eleven it's like, I just found them. So these bottles are actually sealed. It's been like this for like a year and a half, so I don't know if I could actually drink that, but completely sealed. And I painted them to the colors, and these are really cool. Right now I was doing some stuff in my room, and I put these in here just so they wouldn't spill. But normally I have them laid out. I have it in the order that I always buy them in the game. So in game I usually I get Juggernaut first, but sometimes I'll get Revive early, then Juggernaut, then Sleight of Hand, and then Double Tap. And there's a ton of other perks, but these were, I think, like the original 4 that were added, or some of the core 4 that most people use. So I used them all. I'll try to show you guys. There's the Juggernog one, and then what else we got? Whoop. There's Speed Cola. So not completely accurate to the game, but they're pretty cool overall. Oh god, my arm, it hurts. Oh Jesus. Oh god, I got like no room down here. Hold on. Oh my god. Oh, okay, there we go. Jesus, I'm so weak, and I'm trying to balance a camera. All right, what next? Already covered that. Here's a simple one. If I can reach it. Oh, this is a really simple one, but a really fun one. But I don't know if any of you guys ever watched Ed and Eddie as a kid, but Johnny 2x4, his buddy Plank. So this one was super simple. I think I was at work. I saw this little piece of wood, and I was like, that's a pretty good size. That's pretty good. And so all I did was took a knife to it, like chipped a few places. I actually used this to test some of my knives, so it's got a lot of stab, like little stab wound things in it, and you know, like this thing's just beat up. But you can see it was a really simple thing. I just looked at an image online, I freehanded it and just drew that, and then I took I think I might have taken a saw to this, and I cut this little divot into it and then busted it out with a set of pliers, so it's got this, you know, big, like, gnarly chip in it. But that's how it looks in the show, and you know, super simple, really cool. And so I'll just like lean this against a wall somewhere, and it looks really cool. All right, what do we got next? We got, all right, here, I'll try to grab this one. This isn't so much a prop, but I thought it'd be a cool thing to show you guys. This was I found this at work, and it's not a real gun. I don't know if it's like a little trainee gun or something like that, because my dad was in the military, and he told me that they had a, like, when you learn to do the whole like gun twirl thing that like Marines and other military do, like the like honor guards and stuff like that, they do the big like twirl thing. I don't know exactly, so I'm probably wrong about a few things, but it's just kind of like you know, a dummy gun. If you slide the bolt here, it's just got a fake round in it, and there's not actually a barrel. Like, this is just a hunk of wood. So, you know, but I remember they pulled it out at work, and they were like, oh god, like, is this thing real? And I was like, I got this. And I like opened that and checked it, and I'm not really firearm savvy, but I kind of knew to look in there to see if it was real, and it wasn't real. But that's not the point of this. But that's a little story with it. So I got this thing. Originally, none of this was here. The wood wasn't here. That wasn't there. I mean, the rope wasn't there. That wasn't there. That wasn't there. It was just basic, and I was like, I want to make a cool looking little sort of like nautical rifle thing for display. So I did this, similar to the Harry Potter one, I did this wrap where as you wrap it, you do a twist, and so it slowly creates this line that works around it. It's like a little spiral thing, and it looks really cool. And then these, I believe, are Turk's head knots, and you know, I did those on each side. And then I had this little Scrimshaw piece. If you guys don't know what Scrimshaw is, it's essentially whalebone that is carved. It's like what old sailors did to pass the time. Whaling and all that is like illegal now, so this is probably like camel bone or cow bone or something. But you know, essentially it's a Scrimshaw piece. It's got a cool like nautical, you know, it's got a ship on there and stuff like that. And I just took some rope and I wrapped it around. It's got this kind of ugly glue bit, but you don't even notice it at a distance. So I usually just I have this in like my hallway, just leaning against the wall, and it looks really cool. And I don't think it scares people because it's got this whole decorative thing, so you instantly know it's not real. And but it's really cool. It's a nice, cool little piece. So I'm gonna try to put this down here and just lean it against the wall. Next is we're running low actually. Any of this stuff down here is like my prop stuff. I have a little Charmander card that I use as a straight edge. Andrew DFT in his videos, you see he used a Pokemon card for some straight edge, and it's a perfect little thing. You lay it down and you just like you hold it, run the pencil along it. So I keep that there, and because Charmander's pretty cool. Okay, we'll do this one next. This is a Destiny gun, so this kind of shows how long it's been since the prop stuff was Destiny 1. Towards the end of it, Iron Banner and stuff like that, there was a gun called the Unbent Tree, and I really like the look of the gun. This isn't exactly accurate because the whole barrel right here has these like spiral effects on it, but I was like, I'm not doing that. That's a ton of work and stuff like that. And there's a few things that are wrong here. When I was looking at images online, I thought this piece actually curved like outward to the right, but it's actually supposed to just sit straight like that. But you know, whatever. But yeah, it's built from the game, and this was one of those things I built completely by hand. I believe this is a big old cardboard tube with some PVC run through it. It's got PVC that goes out the back, and then I did all that twine on it. And it's a really cool looking thing. And I went to a Goodwill, and I was looking, it was the funniest thing, I was looking in the women's clothes section for some sort of like fur jacket, because I needed some fur material. After I got done doing that, I found fur that you could just buy at a craft store, so I kind of dropped the ball on that. But it was really funny. I go into the Goodwill, I find this thing, it's like $5 for some woman's jacket, and I'm just standing in line, and it's like, who's this guy buying a weird a weird woman's jacket? But I used it, and I just stripped this from it, threw the rest away, and I took a belt, and I glued all this to the belt, and then this is attached by Velcro, so you wrap it around, you touch the Velcro together, and it's snug, and it'll kind of slide around, but I think it just looks pretty cool. If you ever see the thing in game, I'll try, I might forget, but I'll try to put the image of, like, the reference image from in game, and then I'll put this, and you guys can see, because if you guys have never seen it, then you're probably like, you don't know, what it's actually supposed to be. So, I'll do that. But yeah, this is one of the ones I remember working on a lot. I had a lot of fun building this one. I think I made it a little too long. I think this section right here could have been a little bit shorter, but you know, whatever. And then I made these little, I printed these off online. I made these images. They're just paper with the image on it, cut it to shape, and I just glued it on there. So just a cool little detail piece. Alright, next, for one, I'm not going to reach that, but that's the most recent prop I made. That's a Fortnite no dancing sign. So you guys know Fortnite's pretty popular right now, and they just have these little signs. So it's literally a piece of foam, painted it white. I made a stencil. I printed it off online of that image right there, taped it on. You know, I cut the image out, painted it black, and then I free-handed both the music notes, so they're not perfect. And then once that was done, I just painted the red, like, no whatever sign on it. So made that pretty cool. Next, I'm not gonna do this one. I think I just turned my yeah, I turned my scale on. This right here is Negan's bat from The Walking Dead. So I found this bat. It's an old Louisville Slugger, and I don't know the size of it or anything like that, so I don't know if it's accurate. It might be too long or too short based on the one used in the show, but yeah, it's a Louisville Slugger. I sanded away the logo because if you look, Negan's bat in the show, I believe, is a Louisville Slugger, but it's not. It doesn't actually show the logo. They might not show the logo for like copyright reasons or whatever, but it's just got this black circle on it. So I sanded it away, did the black circle around it with either Sharpie or I think it's Sharpie actually. I used Sharpie, and then it actually already had these like chips in it, which was nice. That just added some extra detail. And then I painted it red. You can see it's got like this. It's supposed to look like dried blood on there. And then I took this twine, and I painted the twine silver, and then I took. I think I just took little bits of twine and I wrapped it around to make it look like barbs, but this thing didn't hold up that well. Like as I like carry it, you know, I'll like move it around and stuff like that, the little pieces will like break off. So it's not perfect, but I didn't want to put actual barbed wire on here. Actual barbed wire look cool, but I'm pretty sure that would make it where I'm in possession of like I don't think it's legal to do that, so I don't need a, God forbid, like a police officer's in my house looking at stuff. Like he's like, "Sir, man, investigate the premises," and I'm like, "Sure, I got nothing to hide." And he sees this like dry blood, and he's like, "Oh shit, what have you done?" Unless he's like a Walking Dead fan, I could get in some trouble. So I opted for the fake approach. But all in all, it looks really cool. I'm very satisfied with this thing. Funny enough, this and the gun and a few other things are just sitting in my hallway, so I don't really see this all that often. I just walk by it, so I can't appreciate the coolness of it. But yeah, pretty cool. And then we're nearly to the end, so we're gonna do that one last, because dude, this is like Christmas. You gotta pick which present. So this one, out of all my repaints, is definitely my favorite. So this is a Rogue One Death Trooper blaster. I don't know if any of you guys have seen Rogue One. It's been out a while. It's pretty cool. So Death Troopers carry this blaster. It's kind of like a standard Stormtrooper blaster with a very large barrel at the end. So, like I said, this is a Nerf blaster, so it was originally really bright red. This right here is actually the red that it was. I didn't even paint this. I left this as is because it's supposed to have this red bit right here. So the whole gun was just super bright red. And I decided, hey, I'm gonna just repaint this thing and make it look awesome. So I painted it all black, and then I don't think I mentioned it earlier, but I learned from Bill Duran over at Punished Props this way to make the metal look really nice and like chipped like that, you know, where it looks like it's all scuffed up. So essentially what I did was I sanded it down to make it where the paint would adhere properly. Then I spray painted it all black. When the black set, I spray painted it all silver. Then when the silver set, I took, he uses mustard, but I use toothpaste. I put toothpaste on all the bits that I wanted to stay silver. And then, you know, I covered it all, you know, so imagine this thing completely silver with just toothpaste chunks all over. It looks really funny. And then I spray painted it all black again, and I put like tape right here, painter's tape, to prevent this because this needed to be silver, and just spray painted it completely black. And then after the black had set for a little bit, the toothpaste was still kind of tacky, or it was still, I guess, like wet, if you could say, like it hadn't fully hardened, and you're able to just like brush that off. You squirt a little water on it, brush it off, and it just reveals this really nice looking chipped effect. And so this thing just has a really, at least I don't try to be cocky or anything like that. I'm just very happy. I think the paint job looks really good. And in the show, it's got this, or in the movie, it's got this, you know, the paint kind of looked like it faded away because once the barrel overheats. So I kind of did like a gradient where originally it was, you know, I painted it black. This whole thing was black, and then I just slowly did silver a little bit and worked along the edges. I took some gold spray paint, sprayed it in there to make it look like it's kind of discolored from all the heat. and it looks really good. It actually shoots too, which is really cool. If you pull this thing right here back, this is the like the little pump. I don't know if I can do this one-handed. So it'll glow, which is really cool. So you can turn it on and leave it on, and I think it's got a little battery compartment, so I can always replace it if I want to. But yeah, it actually shoots, and I did this really cool, the whole paint job on it. And then towards the end of the movie, there's the Battle of Scarif, which is on this like tropical beach planet sort of deal. And a lot of it is like, it looks reminiscent of like old World War II, like D-Day. It's all like, storming the beaches, it's all sandy and stuff like that. So I wanted to make this look like it had been in the sand, so I actually took, I sprayed some glue down and I just like trickled sand all in there, so sand is kind of caked up, because if you guys have ever been to the beach, sand gets everywhere. It's always gonna find a place. So, I got sand in there, and it's a really cool build as a whole. I'm really satisfied with it. When you guys see the before and after, you should definitely be able to see, why the paint job kind of came up pretty cool. And then this actually wasn't with it. This, it didn't come with a little scope, but this was a little scope from some other gun, some other toy gun, and it happened to fit on this pretty good. I don't have it glued on there, so this thing can definitely fall off if you're not careful, but it's just kind of cool that you can take it off. But yeah, so that's definitely, out of all the repaints I've done, that is my favorite. And now out of favorites for I guess you could say like start to finish builds, like completely taking nothing, turning it into something. Weapon wise, my Mandalorian Helmet is my favorite armor piece, I guess you could say, but this is my favorite weapon. So this is, if you guys have ever played the game Star Wars Republic Commando, this is a Commando DC-17M, I believe that's the right word. But yeah, it's just like the standard rifle, and in the game the rifle converts. You take the barrel off and there's a grenade launcher attachment. You take the grenade launcher off, there's a sniper attachment. And this was just something that I always wanted to build. It definitely could use some improvement. You can see the seams aren't that great, but as just a wall decoration, it's really cool. And I got 1136 on there because there's these Star Wars books I read about Republic Commandos, and my favorite commando is 1136, so I added that on for some cool detail. I made a little image online, so that's it holds 300 rounds, so that's the 300. Here's a horizontal magazine that I painted blue, and I just took some Sharpie and kind of did those things into it. And I added these images. These images aren't online in game, but I just did I mean, they're not in game, but I found them online. They're just this is just the symbol for the Grand Army of the Republic, so I just made those, put them on it. And then this doesn't actually hinge, but in the game these hinge out to create like a blast shield when you use the grenade launcher. And just all in all, it's just a really cool build, and out of all my gun builds, this is definitely my favorite. I think I spent the most time on it, and like I said, I could easily, probably, if I spent more time on it, make it look perfect with these seams. But I was so impatient. I didn't want to wait days just to get that done. I was like, I want this thing on the wall. I want it to look good. But yeah, I think that's it for my props. This is my last one. There's a few things I've made, like on my wall up there. I made a little Boba Fett decoration. You can see there's imperfections, but just as when you look at it, you instantly know what it is. So I made that. I made a little Deku mask that I hung up. That's just that's a decoration. That up there is a Skyrim We Know thing for the Dark Brotherhood. Essentially all I did was I just laid down some paper, stuck my hand in black paint, and put it down, and and then I like took a lighter, fried the edges, did the coffee thing, and just stained it, and it looks pretty cool. Up there I made my Halo 3 service record. It's from Halo 3, all my stats and my achievements and stuff like that. Halo 3 was one of my favorite games, so that's just a cool little, I don't know if you'd say like memorabilia or whatever. Those are just cheap little things, like a dollar store little toy pistol, dollar store bow. That's supposed to be like a Zelda bow. That's just, a little revolver I made. But I think that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and like I said, if there's anything in particular that you saw, let me know if you want to see, I guess, how it was built, or I could kind of do an overview of the video as a whole. Sorry, I'm not really showing you guys anything. That's kind of boring. I'm just trying to close this out. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, please do leave a like, let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.